All right. Well, if anybody who's in the back wants to come a little bit closer, we invite you to come a little bit closer so we can actually make this a conversation. And just joining us on stage, as you probably figured out, is Alaa Krimed. He's not only the choreographer and director of the piece, he's also the composer of the music of the piece and the director of the piece and the co-founder of Sima Dance Company with Lana Fahmy, who's just dancing the piece. So she'll be out here in just a couple of minutes, and then you already met Beata. And let me just start off by saying congratulations. It's a really powerful, beautiful piece, incredible dancing. And there's Lana Fahmy, dancer and the co-founder of Sima. So I just want to start to talk a little bit about the work, and then we'll sort of go into some backstory. There are so many extremes in the piece. The black and white of the costumes as we see, the incredible shadows and light of Simon Frollo's lighting, the contrast between the beautiful lyrical cellos and the heavy metal guitars. And at the same time, when you write in your artist statement, you talk about mediocrity, and then you also have a sense of balance on stage with the balances in the back. As your first piece since 2012, I'm curious just to understand a little bit about why this theme, why now, why this was sort of your first full-length piece, and what this means to you.
Yes, actually, why is this piece? Because I suffered a lot from mediocrity in the last 7 years. I think I met a lot of people who really I cannot judge them as mediocre, but they are trying to destroy my career to be an entertainer always, not to do what really I want to do. So I thought this theme, it's really I want to do something about it. I want to say something about it. I want to highlight it. That's why I chose this theme.
Great, and I think that urgency really comes across, and from what I understand at the same time, the process, when I was talking to Lana at rehearsal the other day, she said the process, clearly your name is on the title as the choreographer and director, but she said the process is really collaborative with the dancers and everybody's really weighing in and part of that. So I'm wondering, Lana, if you could maybe talk about that creative process and how that theme comes with that sense of urgency, and then how it translates onto your bodies and in the rehearsal studio.
Of course, so it took us almost 3 months to prepare for this performance, and it was a collaborative work with the rest of the dancers. And I think it's because we all suffer from mediocrity in a way or another. So we see it everywhere, we suffer from it as artists, as human beings, as just in different aspects in life. So the process of creating the performance was very interesting because everybody has a certain experience that dealing with people who are, they are granted positions that they're not in worth of. And we all have such experiences. So when it comes to choreography and creating the pieces, Alaa was giving us theories or ideas, and we just tried to create movement related to not the scenes, but the ideas that were put on the table. So each and every dancer has a certain piece in the process of making this performance. So it was interesting. 3 months. It was exhausting mentally, physically, psychologically, because it's not just you pick up choreography from a choreographer. You pick up choreography from a choreographer, but at the same time you try to put your own experience as well, whether it's in movement or in the idea or your own experiences. So.
Yeah, and so as the dancers are creating these different sections and responding, as a choreographer, what's your process then in terms of sifting through all of the material that's being generated in the studio?
Me or not? You mean? Yeah. Actually, I give them exercises, just small ideas, like what do you feel if you, how you can see the politicians now, as an example. How they affect your life now, how you can see them. Are they good? Are they bad? Your point of view. Just do it to me in a movement. So I built all of the pieces from exercises. So idea, small theme, and they will build. I will give them 1 hour, 2 hours to just build a theme, a movement, acting, anything they want. And I will choose what I really like, and we build all of the performance like this.
Great, and the company is coming from, like the UAE, they're coming from lots of different countries, lots of different backgrounds, lots of different age ranges and levels of experience.
Yes.
So I'm curious now to talk a little bit about the company itself and Sima Dance Company and the relationship with Sima Dance Center and how you've been in the past 3 years or so that you've been in Dubai. And this is also a question to include Beata in as well. Sort of what was that process of sort of developing both the center and the dance company and getting to the point that you could premiere such an extraordinary work like you did tonight?
So yeah, I just want to maybe explain what we have, Sima Performing Arts, which is a venue, and we are building up the program to perform also other people, like to come from other parts of the world and to give a chance to other local companies or the artists to perform. And there's a Sima Dance Company, so these are like two different things, which are brothers or sisters. General, the scene is in Dubai is, I think the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi is that Dubai is like grassroots initiatives. There is no system from top down. There is no support from coming from top to down. And therefore, I think it was very difficult for Sima to establish themselves artistically. Because what Alaa mentioned before, the demand is a lot for entertainment. But there is no infrastructure and ecosystem for artistic work. There is no the whole chain of funding, of support, of cooperations and collaborations, which would enable artists to do their job, basically, just to create. And I think what we see as our goal or aim, and it gets slower than we expected, just to be part of creating this infrastructure. And to develop the understanding of funding as well, because of course at the end there's no funding and resources, you cannot do your job. All the means of rehearsals, of costumes, of lighting, of music, of sound, it doesn't have to bring money, but it has to sustain itself. So I think this is what our purpose, to contribute to developing this infrastructure.
And that's
for us
why
to survive.
We thank you a lot for this beautiful platform that you are giving for artists, not only in UAE, for like international, really. It's like we need something like this. Thank you so much, Bella, again. Really, thank you so much. I'm very happy. I cannot thank you enough for everything you are doing for this country. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it's important to us. I think when we first met, because we had been aware, we'd been emailing back and forth for a little while, and then I came to a festival that you'd produced at the Yard in Al Serkal, where it was short pieces outdoors. But it was that sense when we met here in the spring, of that sense of kind of what the company needed and what you've accomplished so far, and what would allow you to really sort of kind of take that next step forward to take the next step forward to sort of going back to a place where your career had been. Now, the two of you have been working together for a very long time, but the company itself is quite new. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the dancers and how they came together and how you assembled this fantastic cast.
Yeah, of course. So I think I remember we moved to Dubai almost 2014. And it was just me and Alaa. The original Sima Dance Company members weren't able to come and follow us here to the UAE, so it's just both of us. And we started by teaching. We were giving classes, and this is how we met most of the dancers. Some of the dancers were just coming to take a class, and then we saw potentials, and then some of the dancers were auditioned for other projects, and this is how the company re-established itself. So we are about 25 male and female dancers in the company right now, but it's only 14 who performed tonight. So it's been 5 years now, almost, and we've been training together. Sima Performing Arts also helped us more in having our own space where we can rehearse whether we have a project or not. So we constantly keep on working together, because in a company, like it's hard to work with freelancers. Like we do work with freelancers, but as a company, it's really hard to keep that one soul kind of, relationship with most of the dancers. So we always keep the rehearsals running, whether we have projects or not. We train for 4 days a week. We also give public classes. So we've been lucky, and we're very grateful to have our own space. We keep on meeting new dancers. Even like last week, we met a couple of new dancers, and this is how it's always going. And we're so looking forward to have a big company. Like when we left Syria, I think we had more than 70 dancers in the company back in Syria. But yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, of course.
So I think the phenomenon in Dubai, or places like Dubai, is that people who are from Europe or from the United States, they imagine company. It's a company with employ dancers, and or it's a body. It's not, because like most of those dancers, it's really the biggest what they have is the passion and of course the experience and the talent, but they cannot just live from this. So they invest incredible amount of love and time, come and train, and this is time which is not paid. Like, this is the time which they want just to excel, and they want to get better and to be part of those performances. There is no other contemporary dance company in Dubai. So it's just the only one company, and those who love this art, this form of art, those people who love contemporary dance, and dancers who love contemporary dance, I've heard it so many times when they say, I just, when I found Sima Dance Company, that everything became just, I am happy as a dancer because I found my place here. And they do, and they go commercial projects, of course, but this is not where they feel artists. And I don't mind commercial projects, but this is something different. Yeah.
And I think that's a conversation we've had a lot about the Art Center as well. I think there's so much talent, there's so much interest in the arts, both as creators and performers, as audience members, but the opportunity hasn't necessarily been there to take advantage of it. And so it's those moments when the seeds are planted and they really start to bloom, and I think we really saw that tonight. So I thank you for that. I'm about to open up the questions to the audience, but I have one last question, I guess, for all of you as we make that transition, and that is, this is the world premiere of a new work that's been gestating for a while, and hopefully you're going to go on and be able to start touring that and bring it to other places. What do you want to know from the audience? What kind of information, what kind of feedback would be useful to you as artists and as the company as we kind of move into this conversation?
Anything you want? Just like... So actually, always like the most difficult question for any artist, like people will enjoy the performance or no, they will get anything from it or no, they will relate or no. This is always like we face those questions, and it's always very difficult for us to build a 50 minutes performance and thinking that you need always to catch the people or try to let them enjoy what are you doing or like understanding. And actually contemporary dance, it's something very difficult. Dance in general, it's a very abstract language. So when you are trying to put it into a story, into a script, it will make more complicated for us, for you. So you will feel something or you will not feel anything. Okay, did you feel anything or no? Or only like, yes, that's it. For me, this is like the most important thing. Just to feel something, even if you didn't understand the whole script, the whole story, the whole images that we are trying to like say through body, choreography, but you felt something, like you are related to something. This is so important for me.
It might be cliche, but this is basically what we do. Like in most of our performance, in everything we work on, the main, the target for us is to communicate with the audience, is for us to as cliche as it may sound, but to touch your heart somehow. So whether it's you understand the whole idea or you just get this feeling, both ways we're winners. So we just want you to, we just want to make sure that you are closer to us. That's all. For
and both
personally.
ways you are winners.
Thank you so much.
Understanding as well as, it was very well balanced.
Thank you so much.
Whether it is too much in your face or not, the nuances were there, so were the quite obvious stuff that you made on purpose. So both were there. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I think we actually just transitioned, and then we've got somebody in the front row. So, so I think that's a great provocation. So, what did you all feel tonight? What did you see tonight? What did you find striking? What do you want to share? What do you want to ask? And we'll start over here.
Hi, I'm Yvette Campbell, and I actually am a former dancer with Elisa Monte Dance and Ailey too. And I have to say, you brought something to Abu Dhabi and to the UAE that's extraordinary. Really, really. And understanding commercial versus concert dance, which is what we call it in the US, everyone was on their seat. You brought, the messages were clear. The dance is the language. And we don't have to speak the same language, but dance actually unifies, and dancing on stage does that. My question for you is, where do you go next? And so, as a performer, I danced with 12 dancers, and we went everywhere, but it was 12. It wasn't 70, and it wasn't 14. But where do you go next? Because this needs to be seen around the world. And so I give that back to you because it's
actually, I'm Palestinian. My wife, she's Syrian. So we are very, it's so difficult to travel anywhere. So I'm so sorry. It's the truth. We cannot take visas. We cannot take any. So we will try. Yes, but it's reality. Yeah. So hopefully we will try to travel. We will try. Thank you so much.
You need to bring it to New York. You need to bring it to
Hopefully,
the US and Europe.
hopefully.
Absolutely.
It's a dream.
So if seriously starting regionally first, I think it's interesting to show regionally, and then the audiences in Asia and Europe and the United States are very different.
Yeah.
So I think we want to go everywhere. So so we will start with Asia and region and Europe. I'm not sure about the United States, but maybe. Yeah.
And I think that the issue of mobility is a real issue, and the fact that the UAE is such an international place, I think this really speaks to the response that we got tonight in the audience that is sold out for both nights. I think it really speaks to the hunger in the audience, but also the need for everybody here, like you all are doing, and hopefully other people will as well, to support the artists who are working here, particularly when mobility can really be limited, because for many ways this will be the place where they're most able to really connect their work to
100%.
audiences from all over the world. There's a question right up here in the front row.
Not a question, but I just wanted to say that thank you for bringing this to us in the middle of the summer in Abu Dhabi. This is fantastic to finish the summer with this. It's great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, really. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who's got a comment, a question? Raise your hand high in the front row over on the side over there.
Hello.
Hi.
It's me. Hi. So I've been here, I moved to Dubai from London about 10 months ago, Alaa, as you know, because I was gagging and came running going, where's the dance? Where's the dance? Where's the art? Being an Indian classical dance artist from London, seeing a lot of abstract work, and also we're not pigeonholed in London. Like, I'm not an exotic cultural dancer. I'm an artist and a storyteller. And I can see the gap, and I felt it in my being as soon as I arrived. I knew that the art scene has a way to go. So I knew I had to be here tonight. So it's absolutely beautiful to witness your work, especially learning that, your journey when we spoke. For me, seeing the work in London, obviously it's a beautiful, we've come a long way in the art scene. We're cross-collaborating, even Indian classical dance, contemporary, there's blurred lines, and it's a really thriving scene. But in terms of when I've seen contemporary work, it's always been a bit too far abstract for me, right? But today, I think a huge kudos to both of you, but all of your dancers, because I think the scripting you've done along with their personal storytelling, you can see they've invested in that. And so through the array of scripting, I'd love to learn more about your scripting, but through what I've observed, I can really sense connection. You know, from all of us in the audience, we're going to connect to something because there's a lot of stories woven into a script. So it's great that you've held a space for people to be authentic. And that really shines through. I think it makes it very special. So thank you. Thank you for your efforts. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So do you want to talk a little bit about the scripting and about, as you called the material, sort of how you created the structure for the piece and how you took all those different themes and built an arc out of that?
It's so difficult for me.
It's difficult for me as well, but the thing is, that's why we dance, actually, because we try to avoid talking about the pieces. Like, we try to dance on our bodies. No, but basically, so Alaa was inspired by this book, which really relates to everybody, and I'm sure that it related to you. Like, you felt, you can be with us in most of the pieces, I'm sure. So I think that I have to talk about it. It's really difficult, guys.
He's a philosopher, and he's a philosopher, actually, and I challenged myself to do something from this philosopher. So imagine if I want to explain about mediocrity, just talking about mediocrity, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. To do it like through dance, it's more difficult. So I challenged myself. I really cannot talk about it well but I can answer any question. If you have any question about the performance, about the pieces, about any scene you like you wanna know more about it, I can ask you, and I can answer all of those things.
I just want to add that to avoid any misunderstanding, the script is not about the book. The book is just an inspiration.
Yes.
So the book was a trigger, for the idea, but the story is something very, I would say, personal also for Alaa. The story is what he puts into the script. Can I say an example? The stamp scene, for example. It's just something very personal. You know what happens when you have Palestinian passport, right? So yeah, you just don't travel. Yeah. And
you always reject it.
So, and this is his personal story. You can, of course, can see it's so different, but the script is not the book. It's not done to the book.
Yeah.
There's a question over there and a question
Please.
over there, and then I think to the point about the limits of words, I think we might then call it a night. But let's have these final two questions or comments.
Hello.
Hi.
First of all, I wanted to thank you. That was great, and it's also great hearing about your story. I've
Thank
been
you so much.
living in Abu Dhabi for like 7 years now, and I've been
Thank
involved
you.
with the grassroots theater movement, and I identify with a lot of the story. Getting chills saying this, oh my god.
Thank you.
But I actually wanted to ask a question. I wanted to know, to hear from you guys, what is your definition of mediocrity? Because seeing the piece and also listening to, reading the iconography of the piece and whatnot, it feels kind of like the showbiz side of stuff is what you would see as mediocre, or like in the piece you can sort of see this transition from like a pure artistic impulse and that then gets like stomped down by like this capitalist machine or something like that. So I wanted to know, is it really like, what is your definition of mediocrity?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my point of view, my point of view about mediocres, who's like people in a very low, high position, but they don't deserve it. Yeah? They are trying to show you or show me that they are very important, but they don't have any knowledge, any skills to be in this position. As an example, I worked with so many directors. They don't know anything about lighting, about anything, and they are directing me and the company and everyone who are really like have knowledge about their work, but those directors, they doesn't know anything. Okay, they just have connection. They invite people to come and go for dinners and lunches and stuff, but they doesn't know anything.
So
it's a connection thing.
Yeah, it's basically those people who can climb on you just to be on top. Like they don't care if they can crush you.
And they don't have skills.
They
don't have skills. They don't have skills.
They take everything from you and they
don't have skills. They don't have knowledge. I'm so upset from that.
We've been suffering for almost.
So going back to the book, the trigger was that the author is talking about that we live in society. He's a philosopher and an academic. That the society is also based on ruling of mediocres, people who are not overly smart. What they expect is that everyone sticks to the same rules. And basically goes back to the critical thinking is not wished, and and being not uniform is not wished. So I'm simplifying, but these was ideas in the book, and that's why Alaa could relate to those books through his own personal experiences, in his life. I think that was the click.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the description of mediocrity in that book was kind of talking to you.
You should be stupid. Like no. He started the book like this. You should be stupid. You shouldn't think. Like he started the book like this. Yeah.
For the creative, for the one who wants to be inspired, for those who want to shine, they're always crushed. So it's basically, you can actually also see it in one of the scenes. So.
Okay, we have the last question back here.
Hi, Jumana.
Hi, so I'm a part-time student sometimes. Anyway, I'm not a dancer. But first, I really want to say thank you for this space to have offered us. Some of us have come from Dubai. It's really heartwarming to see a crowd that's actually both from Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So thank you for this opportunity. Sima Dance company and center. It's really grounding to see you do this work. So I want to make sure it's actually heard. It was said multiple times, but this is really important to be in a space like that and for it to be full of faces that know each other and ones that are new. I also I'm someone who's part of the region, different capitals in the Arab world, and I do want to bring one element as a thought provoker more than a question perhaps at this point, and maybe a question, which is I'm very aware that in the region, because there is so much thirst, we tend to sit here and be in awe at what we see, and what you performed today is really just stunning, very high quality to my non-dancer standard. I do have what we say in Arabic, غيرة. So I do have this protection to protect you, us, everyone in this community from the first instinct of praising because there's thirst, and for us to make sure that within a context where there isn't much, that the way we perceive your work be from the perspective of how can it be even better and how can it compete and really be at the standard where it's pointed at as this is, I am coming here not because there's very little of it and that it's good, but I'm coming here because this is the best and this is where the best is. And so I'm really speaking as someone who feels like I'm part of a family, although I barely know you, from a very, very personal perspective, that I really hope not only that it appears on stages because it's good, but that it appears to challenge others as well as be received. And I hope that the community who's here, who seems to be passionate about this, comes in with a critical eye and says, okay, this is where it can be better.
Thank you so much.
And I think that's actually a fantastic note on which to end. I think that really speaks to what we've been trying to do at the Arts Center. I think there is this moment that's been happening in the UAE over a number of years, and with the work that's happening here at the Arts Center and all across NYU Abu Dhabi. Of course, as Sima is part of Al Serkal Avenue, I think there's so much energy that's coming out of Al Serkal. We've got our friends from the Louvre here tonight at American Community School, and there's a lot of things that are really bubbling up and are continuing to build momentum. And I think these kinds of conversations about what it means to create an artistic community, what it means to create art that is challenging, what it means to also create a critical discourse, so it's not you get a trophy just for showing up, but that everybody's constantly challenging themselves to make the work better and better and better, and that's not seen as tearing it down, that's actually seen as a means to building it up. I think that's a really important point, and I'm really grateful that you raised that. I'm grateful that so many people stayed for this conversation. Please continue it out in the lobby and continue it all season long here at the Arts Center. And thank you again to everybody here on the production.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. And to all the members of Sima.
Thank you, Belle.
And we'll see you soon. Good night.
Thank you so much.